Muhleman. Emma, first of all, these whirlwind developments that are happening in Europe, what kind of impact could they have, even near-term or longer-term, on financial markets?
I mean, the impacts will be long and structural in nature, especially when it comes to energy and agriculture. So there's been estimates that what the amount of oil taken out of the global markets from Russia alone is about 3 million barrels a day. That can't be made up by OPEC, even if it wanted to, or the other non-79 non-OPEC countries. So people will look to China and say, oh, you know, the economy is weakening, so oil demand will come down, right? And then energy prices will take a little pullback. But that actually misses the point. You'd have to see a really severe recession, maybe deep depression, when you have supply dynamics this tight, to actually see oil prices stay.
So then let me ask you about this, because there was this awkward scene where President Biden was talking to a reporter about going to the Middle East and trying to get production up, right? Middle Eastern oil. And then Macron comes in out of nowhere and starts to set the record straight. He says, hey, the United Arab Emirates, there's no more capacity there, and there's barely any in Saudi Arabia. I mean, does that mean that, first of all, that this sort of trip is folly, that, you know, no need to make it? Certainly, if you got to give an audience to MBS, but also, you know, maybe at some point even consider being more pro-oil in America. I mean, because it sounds to me like you think oil prices are going to be elevated for a long time.
Oh yeah, they're going to be elevated for a long time, and it's going to be very, you know, repressive for the lowest earning part of our population. And it absolutely means we should be more pro-energy in America. So, you know, and I'm not saying anything against, you know, green initiatives, but we have to have the oil capacity to produce electric vehicles. So one Tesla takes like 60 barrels of oil just to make the plastic that's in a Tesla car. So if you don't have the oil to get, we don't have enough hydrocarbons to get to the green energy transition to begin with.
That's the irony, right? So the irony is, to get to the green utopia, we need to power it by oil. And you just mentioned this all, well, you kind of alluded to this, you know, the movement itself. And I want to ask you quick about ESG, because it wields amazing power, particularly over in Europe, but even here in this country. And some say it plays a major role in oil, like you can't do any major developments because you can't get any money out of Wall Street. In the meantime, if you've invested in ESG itself, it's been something of a dud as an investment. Where do we go from here? What's the role of ESG? Is it going to be this dominant from here on out?
You know, that's a good question. You know, investing in ESG as a dud, I can explain to you pretty simply. A lot of funds have used it as a tactic, just as a marketing ploy. And so, you know, and it's not necessarily going to be investing in things that are going to give you the most immediate returns, right? So it depends on what you prioritize. And then, sorry, there was a second part of your question.
No, just, I mean, you kind of hit on it right there, you know, in terms of, you know, the power that it wields. Because I read somewhere today that some surveys showed retail investors are showing more interest. They've Googled ESG more often. And I think it's all marketing, to your point. And there's no real set rules to this, but we do know the consequences. And one of them has been, we haven't been able to drill in this country, and now the average American is paying a heavy price for it. Emma, we've run out of time. I always appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, up next, this recession debate, folks. It is roiled tomorrow.